This tweet has 6 million views, 65 retweets, 1,000 quote retweets, 231 bookmarks. And that tells me that bro is getting cooked. That tells me bro is getting cooked. He's getting baked. But it comes with the territory, bro. It comes with the territory. When you do a top 100 list of NBA players and you have, pretty defined rankings, even though you have tiers involved, you can never please everyone. You know what I'm saying? And the way Twitter works, there's going to be some dude mad that you put this dude specifically above this dude, even though they're literally right next to each other in the pyramid. There's going to be some dude mad over 5 things throughout a whole pyramid and agree with 95% of it and call it a trash list because of those 5 things. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to examine, what the fuck is the list on, bro? Like, what are people mad about? Before we go into the quote retweets, I do want to check out the list. You know what I'm saying? So this is the top 28, and does this cover the rest? Okay, so this is the whole pyramid then. It's just in 2 pictures. Let's see. You got Jokic, number 1 in his own tier. I'm honestly not mad at that. I personally, right now, agree with that until further notice. Could easily change next year. But until further notice, I think Jokic is clearly the best player in the league. 4 through 6 is where things get controversial. First of all, I'm happy that my guy Jason Tatum was being, considered more in these top 5 conversations. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too long ago when I was fighting for Jason Tatum being a top 10 player. But now that that's a consensus, we're moving up to the top 5, bruh. Yeah. Moving up to the top 5. Smoking on top 5. Luka being there, I am also not mad at. I think the controversial one is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I see why it's controversial. Now, me personally, the way I look at the top 10, I'm going to keep it a stack. If I did this pyramid, because I think he kind of forced the, there can only be 3 players in this tier, then 4, then 5, then 6. I think if he truly went about it with real tiers, I think how this should have went, to be honest with you, is Jokic is in his own tier. Giannis and Curry are in their own tier. Luka is in his own tier. I think Luka is locked out 4th right now, to be honest with you. But 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, to be honest with you. To me, those guys are all in the same tier. And depending on how you fucking wake up, that order for you can change in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how I feel about it. But him specifically picking Shai right there, essentially saying he's either the 5th or 6th best player in the league, at most at 4, I'm not mad at it, bro. I'm not mad at it. Now, are people going to use this to say, hey, this is why Shai is fucking overrated? I understand. But can we just put into perspective the season Shai just had, bro? Is that too much? Is that too much to ask? Last season, Shai played 70 games. Or is it Shai or Shai? I'm going to say Shai. Pretty much 70 games. 31 points. The fact that he didn't lead the league is crazy, but 31 points. Roughly 5 assists and 5 rebounds. A block and a steal and a half a game. Shot 51% from the field. 35% from 3. Got to the line 11 times and shot 91%. And I think defensively he was solid as well. Not a stopper, but not a liability as well. He's solid. Shot 63% true shooting, bro. Like that. I just don't know how we can look at Luka, and maybe it's because we've seen him in the playoffs. But I just find it interesting that we can look at Luka and rank him that high still, even though he didn't make the playoffs. And then when it comes to Shai, him not making the playoffs is like this big deal when it comes to this ranking. But I see why people are mad. I would personally have Tatum above Shai still. I think a healthy Kawhi is better than Shai. I'll go that far because this is a healthy list. Healthy LeBron. I think this is also where MDJ fucked up. What does a healthy LeBron mean in this regard? You know what I'm saying? Are you estimating that we're going to get LeBron post injuries from last season and that's going to be the LeBron that we get this season? Or are we going to get the LeBron that we saw in the playoffs, maybe a little bit more explosive, but play more games this season? You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, if it's the second part, I see having Shai over that version of LeBron. But if it's pre-injury LeBron and we're getting that dude healthy, I would personally still take that LeBron over Shai. I would take a fully healthy Anthony Davis over Shai, to be honest with you. Yeah, I do that. And then I think Devin Booker, Shai, and Joel Embiid, that's the toss-up for me if everyone's healthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably still taking KD over Shai, a healthy KD over Shai. But I guess MDJ is just prematurely high on Shai. That's ultimately what it is. It's not the most egregious ranking out there. It's definitely optimistic of what Shai can be moving forward. But I'm not too mad at it. I'm not too mad at it, to be honest with you. I think a healthy LeBron and a healthy AD is being a little bit underestimated in these regards. I think both of them healthy is better than Joel Embiid. I'll say that right now. Even with Joel Embiid being healthy. Let's move down the list. Aside from that, Mikal being that high, I think that's premature. If that's his prediction, then I feel it. But Mikal being that high off of the sample size that we saw, a little bit too premature in my opinion. Just a little bit too premature. Shai over Dame and Booker is not wild. I don't know why that's wild. The Kyrie thing, I seen Mev quote retweet this saying Shai can't be that high, man. All these dudes, she said, boom, 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 skips over this whole list right here, boom, are all better than Shai. I'm like, all right, bro, all right. I think Kyrie is fine right here, to be honest with you. I'm not I'm cool with saying Jamal Murray is better than Kyrie nowadays, to be honest with you. Healthy Zion is a X factor in this list, because a healthy Zion, in my opinion, is a better player than Jaylen Brown at the very least. And that's no like fuck Jaylen Brown type shit. Yeah, I think a healthy Zion might go all the way up to like this right here. But I'm not too mad at it. I think after... Let's see. I think after this tier right here is the tier I say I don't really give a fuck anymore how you rank these players. That's just me. Once we get to this tier right here and we're arguing Franz Wagner or Kristaps Porzingis, I'm a just default to whatever the fuck you say because I don't want to fucking argue with you about Kristaps Porzingis and Franz Wagner. You know what I'm saying? That's where we get. So I think this tier right here, I would personally put Jalen Brunson higher than Cat, Beal, and CJ. I would also do the same thing for James Harden. I don't know if these are in exact order within the tier. And I'm gonna be honest. These Jalen Brunson, James Harden, Bam, Triple J. I might even go as far as DeRozan and Darius Garland and maybe Zach LaVine. I think all those guys I named are better than Cat, Beal, and CJ. So I'll go that far. And going back to this list, I wouldn't even be mad if someone said Jalen Brunson over Kyrie at this point, man. To be honest with you. I think DeAndre Ayton is too high. I think DA should be around like this territory. That's just me though. Wemby, that's such a hard judge right now because we haven't really seen him play in an actual NBA game. I wouldn't even say really. We haven't seen him play in an actual NBA game. And I feel like if this has like some factor of predictions to it, listen, man, I would say Cade and Paolo should be much higher. I think by the end of the season, going into the season, you saying Paolo and Cade aren't better than OG Anunoby and Sengun and Kyle Kuzma is going to bite you in the fucking ass. I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm going to just keep it a stack. Let's see. Also, I seen someone point this out. And this is Celtics bias coming through. I feel like we need some more Celtics representation in this top 100, bro. Like, I think Derek White is better than a lot of these players at the bottom, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think Derek White is better than a lot of these players from like 67 through 91, to be honest with you. I guess Kristaps is in there. So we got three Celtics players on there. Malcolm Brogdon or Keegan Murray type shit. You know what I'm saying? But that ass though, I will say it is saying a lot that players like Rob Will and players like Malcolm Brogdon, who literally just won Sixth Man of the Year, are not even in the top 100. Like, you can make a legitimate argument that, there are 100 players better than these dudes. And I think that speaks to the talent within the league right now. I think that's crazy. I don't think we're saying that 10 years ago. Would the Sixth Man of the Year not even be a top 50 player? Like, that's fucking crazy, to be honest with you. Same thing with a center like Rob Will, you know? And I feel like I'm missing names, but those are just the names that I'm thinking about right now. But all in all, I think the list isn't too bad. Chat the Great War for the $5. I'll also read the super chats here in a second. He said, where's Rob Will, Big Al, rigged? Nah, it's just a list who really cares about this in a week. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, for him to be getting cooked like these, though, is insane. This tweet right here is insane. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Shai, I am risking my reputation as a basketball commentator here. Do not let me down, buddy. Back-to-back first-team All-NBA, and I will look like a genius. Okay? Deal. That too. Would I be surprised if Shai made another All-NBA first team? No. And in retrospect, to say that a dude made 2 All-NBA first teams is a top 6 player in the world should not be a crazy, it shouldn't be a crazy thing. I wouldn't be, mad about that. Yeah, this was a tweet that I seen on my timeline. And then I thought she was about to get ratio, to be honest with you. I think what she fucked up on was actually pointing out who is better. You know what I'm saying? Because when she said Kyrie, bruh, all right. If you still think Kyrie is better than Shai, then that's fine. Which is fine, bro. I'm not gonna go crazy on Mev type shit. Ant top 15. Ant top 15 when he's not like, he's on like the very edge of it. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. I think people are so fixated on the sentence. Like, yo, Ant being top 15 is crazy when he's number 15. You know what I'm saying? So if I ask MDJ, like, who is better, Ant, Paul George, Dame, or John Morant, he'd probably tell me, yo, that's tough. You know, I don't know. It's very debatable. So essentially, that's him admitting that Ant can be anywhere from 15, really 14 to like 18. And with saying Ant is the 18th best player in the league, does that sound crazy? I personally don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I think with all-time conversations, people fall into the same trap too. I think people get fixated on who is top 5 and who isn't. I think when KD and Lowe were going at it, pause, that was like the main thing. You know, I think Lowe was making a big deal about KD not being specifically top 5. But in reality, he probably had KD at 7, 6, 7, 8. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's like, it's a mute point, I feel like. But yeah, shout out to MDJ though. I know he had a whole ass explanation for this. Let's see how long it is.
Okay, now
I probably should have just watched that video, to be honest with you. But those are my takeaways on the list. It's not the worst. It's not the worst list, bro. My standards for a bad list is like very high, I guess, or very low, depending on how you look at it. I think that list, Ball Don't Stop, made of like the top 100 hoopers of all time, and he had like Jamal Crawford in there. I think that's when like lines are being crossed in terms of this is a bad list and this isn't. But if we're just having like nitty gritty debates between, you know, Shai being 6 or 11, or, you know, Ant being 15 or 20, or Kyrie being 27 or 22, I think that's not really the marker for me of what a bad list is, to be honest with you. So, shout out to MDJ though. Shout out to MDJ.